administration of former U.S. President Donald Trump announced measures to restrict exports to China of Nvidia's H20 chip, a leader in artificial intelligence semiconductors. The U.S.-China technology war is heating up again.
Nvidia announced in a statement on the 15th that it had already received a notification from the U.S. government on the 9th that exporting the H20 chip to China would require government approval. The problem, however, is that, with the additional notification that this regulation would be applied indefinitely, as of the 14th, exports have effectively been completely blocked. Nvidia estimates that this measure will result in a loss of approximately $5.5 billion, or 7.5 trillion won in Korean currency, in the first quarter of this fiscal year alone. This includes inventory processing costs, breaches of contracts based on existing orders and provisions. The U.S. government cited concerns that the H20 chip may be used in the development of China's supercomputers as the reason for this export restriction. The H20 chip has lower computational performance than the latest AI chip, Blackwell. But it is a chip that can be used for supercomputers or large AI model training, due to its high-speed memory and excellent connectivity with other chips. In other words, it appears to have low performance, but it is classified as a strategically very sensitive semiconductor. In particular, demand for this chip has exploded in China. It was reported by IT media outlet the information that Chinese big tech companies such as Alibaba, Tencent, and ByteDance ordered a whopping $16 billion worth of H20 chips between January and March of this year. This is a 40% increase in orders from the previous quarter. And Nvidia is effectively unable to fulfill this massive order due to this export restriction. Since Chinese AI startup DeepSeek had already attracted attention by developing a high-performance, yet inexpensive AI model using the H20 chip, the US government seems to have perceived this as a strategic threat. However, there is one interesting fact. Just a week ago, the US public broadcaster, NPR, reported that the Trump administration was likely to withdraw this regulation. The trigger for this change in outlook was speculation that regulatory policy was temporarily shaken after Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang attended a dinner at former President Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence and promised a large-scale investment plan for AI infrastructure in the United States. However, the regulation eventually came back stronger, and the United States is gradually expanding export controls on AI chips to China starting in 2022. This measure is not limited to H20, but is being evaluated as part of a technology decoupling strategy to thoroughly separate the US AI semiconductor industry from China. Accordingly, Nvidia's stock price, which rose 1.3% in the New York Stock Exchange on this day, fell 6.3% in after-hours trading, increasing investor anxiety.
In the AI era, semiconductors are no longer just components, but are becoming weapons of national security. The competition for technological hegemony between the US and China is now becoming more sophisticated and deeper.